DAX. So DAX, which stands for data analysis. DAX stands for data analysis expression. Is a formula language in Power BI used for calculations. So that is a formula language in Power BI used for calculation. So that's basically the same way we use our, just basically the same way we use normal our formula in Excel. The same way we use formula in Excel. That's also the same way we use DAX in Power BI. So the same formulas you use, like your sum, your calculate is in Excel. Count row, count, all that are in Power BI. So basically the same way. There's just a big difference between the both of them. The one you do in Excel and the difference is not even that much. And the one you do in Power BI. So I'm going to import the data I'm going to be using. So the data I'm going to be using for this class is still our Apocalypse sales data. So if I already sent it to the group before, I'm going to send it to the group again. So you can go and get it for follow. So I'm trying to send it to the group again. So be able to get that. Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be bringing in the data using my expert. I'll send it to the group for people that don't have it. You can go ahead and download and follow along. So I'm importing the data. I'm bringing my data. I'm going to transform. Data is actually clean. Who is that?
No, the guy. He does not.
If you don't have a question, raise your hand. I'll let you unmute. Okay. So I have my data in here. So which I'm going to be using for my DAX function. So as I was saying, so DAX function, which is your data analysis expression, is basically is a formula language used in Power BI for calculations, for analyzing data and calculation. So I have three ways which we can use our DAX function. There are three ways we can use it. The first way is through measure. The first way is through measure. The second one is column, and then the next one is table. So the first one, which is the measure, is basically aggregating data. For example, everything I'm bringing in from a measure has to be added up. So for a measure now, if you are bringing in the data, you are bringing it in this your report view. If you want to calculate the data and you want to create a measure, you are creating it in this your report view. You can also create data in your data sheet view, but you cannot bring it in data sheet view. You can only view it in the report view. So what the measure does is measure brings in a full column, and aggregate it together. Means like add it up. For example, now when it comes to this where I have my tables, I have to play my data row. Wow. So I have columns like this now. So what the measure does is it adds a column up, one full column like this with all this data I have in this column. It's going to add it up for me to be able to create. That's what the measure is used for. That's the only way you can do it because it aggregates data for you. So as I was saying, so the measure aggregates the data for you means it adds up. You know, in Excel, you, for example, when we use sum in Excel, when we add up a row of data, like select 1, 2 column, or like in a table, we select 1 column and we add them up. That's what the measure does. So before you can actually analyze any data, it has to be added up, it has to be summed up before you can use the measure. So that's the measure. Then the column is basically you adding the way you do it. You can add this our order ID. Okay, let's say I say my unit sold, my unit sold times price divided minus this thing. So if I'm doing that now in this place now, I'm going to be getting another column. It's going to just give me an answer for each and every one of these column I have in this my table here. So let's say I'm calculating. Let's say I have a data here now. I have this data now. I want to sum it up. So I want to know. First of all, let me bring in price here. Yeah? Okay, no, I'll get back to this one. I'll get back to this column. Let's first of all start with measure. So to be able to add a measure, to be able to create a measure in your Power BI, you have to come to report. You can actually do it here in this your data view, but you will not actually be able to view it here. The only place you can view a measure is in here. So to be able to add a measure, you can come to where you have this your table like this. You can see where we have in our right hand side. You can see my mouse here, where my mouse is. I have my tables there. So all I need to do if I want to create a measure, I need to go to the table that I want to create the measure in. I need to go to the table that I want to create the measure in. So let's say, for example, I want to create the measure in this my Apocalypse sales. In this Apocalypse sales, I want to create a measure, and the measure I want to create is I want to create a measure that is adding up the whole of my units. So like all these units. So now I want to calculate everything together. I want to aggregate everything together, add them up to get the one answer, like total amount of units that was sold. So when I get the total amount of units that was sold, I'll use my measure to do that. So what I'll do is come here, come to my Apocalypse sale, which is the table I want to add the measure to. I'll select it and right click on it, and when I right click, I see new measure, new column, and new quick measure. So I'll click on new measure. So when I click on new measure, it's going to open up like this for me. It's going to open up like this for me. So what I need to do now is, the first one is, if when you do it, you see something called a measure then equals to. When you go to the formula bar, this is the formula bar up here. So in the task, we see your formula bar up here. So when you go to the formula bar, after clicking on right clicking on that place and click on new measure, it will open up the formula bar and you have something called measure and then equals to. So the measure there is basically the name of the function you're trying to create. So what is the name of the thing I'm trying to create? For example, now I want to get the total units sold. So we can type total units sold here. Total units sold. So I can type my total units sold here. Then here I will say total units sold, and I will say what I want to do is I want to get the total units sold. And what I can use, the function I can use to do that is my sum function. So I can use my sum function to do that. So after writing the total units sold now, I go in front of the equals to, and I'll say I'll write the sum. So while writing this, you see that the sum, a function box will a drop down of function box will come up where I can see my sum, summarize column, sum x, and all that. So I'm going to click on the sum, and now They're going to tell, they're going to, let me go back from this. So I just, after clicking on the sum, it's going to open a bracket. It's going to open a bracket. Then they're going to ask me column name. So which column am I trying to sum up? So the column I'm trying to sum up is the unit sold. So I want to sum up the unit sold and get the total amount of the unit sold. So now in this place, they're asking us, what is the column we want to sum up? So the column we want to sum up is unit. So type units. So if you type it, it will give you a number of, so that you can select what you want. So you go to Apocalypse Sales. If you look down those tables, you see Apocalypse Sales. Then open bracket unit sold. So click on that, and then close brackets. So click on that and close bracket, and then press. You can press enter, or when you see this X and good mark, this X and good this thing. So you click on this one, this good, this icon here. Click on the good icon. You can see my mouse over it. Click on it like this. It automatically adds. After clicking on it, it will load the function in. So you can see that we have, if you look at our Apocalypse Sales now, we have total units sold. And if you bring in our table, we bring in our table for visual and click on the total units sold, tick it, and we will get that. So I'm going to increase this. So let me zoom in. So I'm coming, I want to zoom in the. Okay, so you can see we have our total units sold. So the total units sold is 3,001. So that's the total units that was sold. If I want to see the total units sold from each customer, I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to put in the customer name there too. So come here, put in my customer name. So I have my total units sold, and for each and every one of the customers, I have total units sold for them. Each and every one of my customers, I have the total units that was sold to them. So for the first one, I'm going to increase my income close. Then here I have Alex, the analytics apocalypse preppers that bought 613. So I have the next one who got 828 units from us. We have the next one 609 and then 951. So now we know how many of our customers, the customer that we sold the most to now, which is the Uncle Jonas Preps shop, which we sold 951 to. That's the unit we sold to Uncle Jonas Prep Store. So that's how we can do that. We can aggregate. Aggregate means summing up your data together, like you have a full column, you sum it up, and then you can get the total of that data. So the difference between Excel function and Power BI function is that my voice is breaking. Sorry. Can you hear me clearly now, Mr. Maxwell? Mr. Maxwell, can you guys hear me clearly now? Mr. Maxwell. Yes, okay. So as I was saying, so the difference between Excel function and Power BI is that, you know, Excel, when calculating, you can calculate when you are adding, when you are using your sum, you can sum from in a row, like you have numbers in a row, you can select those numbers in a row and add them up together. You can do that with your sum in Excel. But for Power BI what it does is it sum up a full column. For example, if I'm creating a sum, I cannot sum going from a customer, I cannot sum from, for example, now let's say my data is, let me go to Calypso Store. I just want to use this one. So let's say I want to sum, just for an example, let's say I want to using my measure, that's for measure though, not for That's for measure alone, not for column 2. So let's say I want to add this column, I want to add this column and this column together, and I want to get an answer for that separately. I can do that in Excel, but in Power BI I cannot do. So what Power BI does is, what Power BI measure does is it sums up a particular column. For example, what we did now, we sum up this column, which is our unit sold. So sum up this our unit sold now to get our total unit sold. So that's how you use sum. You cannot use sum function in a row. You can use it in one column. Just select the column and add them up together. So that's basically the difference between the Excel sum and because in Excel you can do row and you can do row and you can do column depending on what you want. But in Power BI, if you are using measure, you have to go, and if you are using measure and what you are using is your, please repeat the sum of, okay, I'll do that. So do that. Okay, so someone is raising his hand. Okay, please unmute.
Oh, there's no need again. I think I just want to tell you to repeat. Thank you.
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So I will repeat that. So as I was saying, so basically it sums up a full column while you are using a measure. So I'm going to repeat that again. So to repeat that, you can easily delete the measure, right click on it and say delete model, delete from model, delete it from the model, and click on yes. So I'll delete all this. Okay. So to do that, to get the measure again, you come to the table you want to create the measure on. So if it's the Apocalypse sales, you go to the Apocalypse sales table. If it is okay, difference between new measure and quick measure, I will do that. Yeah, I will still get that. Simply, I will get to that. So if it's your Apocalypse sales, you want to create a measure in, you go to Apocalypse sales. If it's Apocalypse store, you go to Apocalypse store. If it's customer information, you go to customer information. So, but our own is we are creating it in Apocalypse sales. So I'm going to come to that Apocalypse sales, click on it, and then right click. So click once and right click on it, then I'll see my new measure. So click on new measure. So when I click on new measure, it's going to open up my formula bar. So in the formula bar, I'll see something. What I'll see there is measure and equals to. So where you see the measure is where you are going to be adding the name of the function you're trying to create. So for Power BI, you have to always add the name of the measure you're creating, because the measure is not like measure. You are not viewing measure as a tabular data. You are viewing it as in this place you see your table. You have to bring in a chart, or you have to bring in a visual to be able to view your measure. So you can bring in the visuals like your table, your metrics table, before you can view it. So you have to give it a name, so that you'll be able to identify it in the midst of the table, the columns you have on your data. So I'll give the measure a name. So the name of the measure, what I want to do is I want to get the total unit sold. So I will say put in total units sold. Total units sold. Total units sold, it can be like this. Then the function I want to use is my sum. I want to use my sum function. And also, as I was saying, that in measure is an aggregation function. That means anything you want to do has to be summed up. So if I want to create anything, as far as I'm using measure, I have to first of all sum up the column I want to use. So let's say I want to use two different tables. I have to first of all sum up the column first, then sum up the other column before I can now do any other stuff. I have to aggregate. I have to make sure, for example, in measure, I have to make sure that the data that I'm using is not in a full column. It's not like one or like in a column. I don't have like 10 data. I have all those data joined together. I have one data that I want to use for this. Maybe let's say I'm doing this plus this now. So I have one data here that I'm using to do this, and I have one data here that I'm using to add this together. So I'll get to the place I was explaining this better. So I'm going to put in my sum here, and then now it automatically gives me my Apocalypse sales, the table that I want, because that's the table I'm in. So it's going to give me that table as where I'm getting my data from. So I'm going to clean it, right? If you don't want, you can just put in the column you want to use. But I'm going to just put, and I'm putting my name of my column, which is unit sold. So type unit sold. So if you type unit, so you see sales, you see the Apocalypse sales, which is the table, and then the column, which is unit sold. So I'm going to click on that, and then close my brackets. After opening this, I'm going to close the bracket again. Then press my enter to confirm that function. Then now I can use a visual. So I'm going to bring in a visual like this one I have here, which is a table visual. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to bring in that table visual here, like this. So I have my total units sold as 3,001. So total units sold is 3,001. Then I can now bring in names so that I can see the total units sold for each and every one of the customers. I can bring in the customer name. This is my visual here. So I now see total units sold for each and every one of the customers. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see the total units sold for each and every one of the customers. So please, do you understand this sum I just did? So that I can move on to the next one. Is the sum clear? Miss okay, so a little says yes. Okay, Miss Elias, please go ahead and unmute. I am asked you to unmute.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Miss. Your network is breaking a bit. My network is breaking. I can't.
Better.
Yeah, it's better now. It's better now.
Okay, so for the new measure, you said that I just want to really get it, that we use new measure to sum up different columns.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so and for us to use new measure, we need to sum up each column first.
Yeah. No worry.
Okay,
This
so
question just
now
asked. Okay, go on, continue. Continue.
Okay, so now which two columns now did you sum up? Because I didn't see you summing up two columns. So.
No, I summed up one column. I said column. One column. The column I'm summing here is the unit sold column. You know that I want to get total units sold. So if I want to get total units sold, I need to sum up this column. This is my unit sold. And in each under the column, you see, for this Uncle Jonas Prep store, we sold 32 units for him in this product, this particular product. So for this next Apocalypse Preppers United, we sold 64 for him. So I want to sum up this column I have here. This is my unit sold column. Every data under it, I want to sum it up to get my total unit sold. Do you get? So that's what I use the measure. So if you're trying to use measure to create anything, you have to make sure you use. You really understand this when there's one function one scenario I want to create. I'm going to use that so that it will really help you understand this better. You get? So let's just get there. You understand it better. So, but yeah. So
okay, because before I go further, because when you now said okay, you summed up the whole column of units sold.
Yes.
Then you now brought in customer, and that one now. So if I, for instance, now if I have number 1 to 100 and I sum up everything, so how does that summing up now also tell me the one done by each customer? It's quite confusing to me.
That's where you are confused. So it's not, so you know that for each and every one of the customer, they have the total amount of units they bought.
Yes.
You get? So our total units sold is giving us the total units we sold. But when we are using a visual and we bring in for example, if I'm using my table visual now, and I bring in my total units sold and my customer information, like my customer name now, when I bring it into that same table, because they're coming from the same table, Power BI will know that I'm trying to get the total units sold for each and every one of those customers. So what it's going to do now is, you know that inside that my total units sold, all those customers has their own share. because all those customers are the people that bought those units from me. So they have their own share. So what it's going to do is, it's going to, for each and every one of those customers, it's going to put their own share behind them. Then after putting their own share, then under it, give me the total of those units that was sold.
Okay.
Do you understand that? Okay, so for example, now in this table I have here now, if I go ahead and remove my customer, you see that what it is giving me there is 3,001. That's our total units sold. That's the total, all the units we sold to all those customers. But when I bring in that customer information column to this my visual here, this is my table visual here. So what it's going to do is going to segregate those, share those units to all those customers, depending on the quantity they bought. Because I've already summed it up, it's just going to sum it up by sharing it to them.
Okay.
Do you understand it now?
Okay.
So that's basically what
one last question, here. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
One last question, sorry. So now, okay, I get your explanation now very well.
Yeah.
So now this view that we are looking at now, how does this view, how will somebody that is not, okay, I'm the one that did the calculation. If I give it to somebody else, how does this view represent something that the person can understand? Somebody just looking at what I've done now. Will you understand this thing now? You know, when we did the power, was it all those slicer and we did pie chart, you know, anybody that sees and we see column and row, like, we know, okay, this column represents price, or the row represents now somebody viewing this thing now. How can the person deduce what we did there?
So all this what you're talking about now is based on the visualization part. That pie chart is visual, is creating your visual. That's I say pie chart. Pivot table is your visual. So you can customize this visual. You can put in the title that this is the total units for each and every one of the customers. You can put in a header here by saying that there.
Okay.
Do you understand? But that one is when we get to the visual part. You're going to see how to. This one I'm just doing the dark, so I'm just using the visual for example, just to show to visual, because you cannot see measure without your visual. That's why I'm using the visual right now. So we're going to go to visual where you see how to do that, how to design your visual, your dashboard and all that, to make it responsive, how to create a resizer and all that.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's move on. Any other question? Is the sum clear to everyone? Should I move on to another function? Okay, someone said please repeat.
They said,
okay, let me repeat it one more time before we go, because I know that we cannot actually finish this thing today. So I'm going to finish. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Please, everybody should just take the attention for people that don't understand. So I'm going to remove the one I have here. So let's click on the total unit sold, and I'm going to delete it. Okay, Mr. Please, you can unmute. You can mute now because of the performance. Okay, so let me go. So as I said, I want to. So let me come here. I'll start on here. So what I want to do is I want to get the total unit sold. So in this our unit sold here, this unit sold table, we have different from Jonas Prep Store, we have 32 units sold to him, but that's not just the unit we sold to him. That's for a particular product. What is the difference between? I'm going to a new measure and measure on the box, on the job box. What is the difference between new measure and measure on the job box? Job box from where? New measure here, they are not different. If it's this one you're talking about, this and the one I'm clicking here, they're not different. I can click from here, I can click from here. So make sure that you're selecting the table you want to put the measure in. If you are going to click in on the one up here, this one is better because I can just right click. I know that I'm in the table I want to use. So, but it's the same thing. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to sum up this to use all these numbers under this unit sold now. You can see all these are numbers under it. So all this number under the unit sold, I want to sum it up, and I want to sum it up, and I want to get the total units. So if I know that summing this up now, I'll get my total units sold. So and I want to do that with my measure. So I said I have 3 ways we can create. I have measure, table, table and column. So I want to do that with my measure. I'm going to get into column for you guys to understand better. So I want to do that with my measure. So what I can do is I click here and click on new measure. So I can click on new measure. I can just select this and come here and click on new measure. So make sure that you select the column you want, the table you want to add the measure to. Select the table. Sorry, I wanted to say new measure and quick measure. I would get to that. Don't worry. So as I was saying, okay. So after clicking on that now, clicking on new measure now, you get it's your formula bar will open up where you can add your measure. So if what you see there first is your measure and equals to. You see measure and equals to. So when you see that text measure, is where you can add your what am I saying? Where you can add your name, the name of the measure you're trying to create. So I'll add, so what the name of measure I want to create is total units sold. Total units, so that's the name of the measure I want to create. Then come here now, after the equals to now, I'll start adding the function I want to use. The function I want to use to add up my units sold is my sum. So I'll put in my sum function. So type sum function will come up. I will just click on it and I don't like this. I think I can click. I guess come up. So click on it, then they're going to ask me the column name. So what's the column I want to sum up? You know, I said the measure, it sums up a full column. I said measure, it sums up a full column for you. To sum up a full column to get one particular answer. So what measure does is, a measure always gives you one particular answer. So if you are doing anything, when you have multiple columns, like maybe in a column you have like 3 or 4 data, what measure does is it adds all those numbers up and give you one particular answer. So what I'll do now, I'll add in the column I want to use. So the column I want to use is my unit sold. So my unit sold is in my Apocalypse sales. So I'm going to just type unit sold. If I type unit sold, I'll get my Apocalypse. So unit sold, click on enter, then close my bracket. So close bracket and press enter. So close bracket and press enter. Now I'll get my total units sold here. So I can bring my total units sold into this my visual here. This is my table visual. So you can see total units sold. I have 3001. Total units sold, I have 3001. Then I can put in my customer name so that I can see total units sold for each and every one of the customers. So put it there like this. So for each and every one of the customers, I can see their total units sold now. So let me zoom in. So you can see for each and every one of the customers, I can see. So you see the one I bought 613, 828, 609, 951 from us. So that's our total units sold and the total units sold for each and every one of the customers. So hope you understand now. Hope we all understand now. So hope you all understand now. Please indicate yes. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Ali, yes. Very well. Right. Okay, so please go ahead. Good evening, sir.
So what I see here is a customer. It's not customer name. It's shop or the store. I think he gave us the total number of sales made by each store. Then the total under it. But you are mentioning customer, and I think the name is not customer.
The store. It's
Yes.
store. It's still the same. All those store. Which data are you using?
You said?
Which are you using this data that I'm seeing? This same data that I'm using?
Yes. But this, if you look at this now, it is store now, not somebody's name.
But his store is still our customer now. Even if they are different stores, they're still our customers.
It's still a customer, but what I'm saying is, this store now, all this store now is not only in one place in that data. So I think it's some of where he saw the store. what they are selling in each store, then they added it together. They give us the total of the units sold. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So total units sold are
Hello?
coming from, yeah, I'm hearing you. So the units sold are coming from all these customers, all these stores. They are the one buying the units from us.
Yes.
So I getting it. So if
Yes,
we are
yes.
summing up our
Yes.
units sold, we are summing everything up. So if you are getting total units sold for each and every one of the customers, obviously some customers bought different products. So what it does is, for each and every one of those products, it sums them up.
Okay.
And how many, and the amount of time the customers buy those stores, it will sum everything up. Everything that is in this column that we have here now. You see this column here, this unit sold column, everything down there, we are summing it up.
Okay. Now, thank you. If you look at 1, 2, 3, 4 now, the 1, 2, 3, 4, you see Uncle Joe Prep Shop. Now, if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4 again, after that prep for
me, I understand you. I understand you. They bought different in different locations. I get. They bought different locations and they bought different products. I understand.
Okay. Okay.
If I'm summing up the total amount they bought. Even if they bought it like 100 times, I'm going to sum it up because this data is in the data platform.
Okay. Okay.
They are buying different products, so it's going to be. Are you getting it?
Yes, I got you.
Yeah.
So that thing is giving us two data now. It's giving us the total numbers, the total units sold by each customer.
Yes.
Abi? And
Yes,
it's also
yes.
giving us the total number of all the
units we sold.
All the
Yes.
sold. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So let me move on. I think we should put that order for. Total order, total units sold. It's still the same thing. Total units sold is total units we sold to them. Order is different times they've ordered. Order is kind of different. Total units sold. Units, someone can order like two, 3 times, but the unit they bought is different. They might buy like 34 units for one order. They might buy like 40 units for one order. So when you're saying that total order, you can also do total orders. But they can buy like 40 units in one order. Not that is clear for the person that asked that question. So let's move on. So the next I want to do is, let's say I want to count total order we got now. So I want to count total order we got. So my total order, this is the order ID. Total order we got. I want to know the total order we got. So what I'm going to do is, come here now. I'm going to be using my measure again. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to use a function called count rows. So count rows because now I'm trying to count the total orders, which you know that this 1904 is one particular order. 396 is one particular order. So I want to count the row. How many orders are in this row? How many rows? Basically, in this thing we have, how many is it? Just want to count how many in this order. How many cells is in there? Let's say we are using cell. How many cell contains number in this thing? Not contains number. We also know how many row is this. In this row, how many districts do we have them? But the way we have the units of in this place, we want to know how many orders are there. So all we're going to use is our count row. So come here, same way we do the order measure is our total units. So right click and say new measure or click on new measure up. So new measure. So I'll type the name of the measure I want to create. So the name of the measure I want to create is count of orders. Count of orders. So count of orders. Then here I'll say I want to count row. So I want to use count row for that. So we have order. We see we have count. We have counter. We have count blank. We have count rows. So like basically same thing as your Excel So counts the ones that contain number, counter counts the ones that contain anything. Count back counts the one that is any cell that is blank. So that's basically. So I'm going to use my count row. Then now they're going to ask me for the table. I'm counting. So the table will be Apocalypse Sales. And then close brackets and enter. So now it's going to count. It has counted the order for me now. So I'll bring in another visual, another table visual here, and I'll put down my order there. So total order we got is 74 orders. So we got 74 orders. 74 orders. And we can also see total order per each customer. So just bringing the customer information here. So for the one we got the most order is from Uncle Jonas prep store, prep shop. We got where we got 22. Apocalypse Preppers United, we got 20. Prep for Anything prepping store, we got 16. And then Alex, the analyst preps, Apocalypse Preppers, we got 16 too. So you can see total order we got and total order per each customer or by each stores that we're selling to. So for each store that we're selling to, we get the total order that the total amount of this in the order. Say total amount. So total order we have from them. So for Uncle Jonas 22, now know the person that from this now we can actually get information of the person that we orders more from us. So we know that now Uncle Jonas is the person that ordered more from us, that we got more order from. Please take the count. Count. So what I use this count row, not count. Count is still there. I have count, which counts the amount of number, amount of columns that contain number. Please take. Okay, I'll do that. So very simple. The same way we have our. I'm going to delete this. We look at count of count of orders. So I'm going to click on it. Right click on my Apocalypse Sales and say new measure. New measure. I'll say new measure. What is the name of this now? Which is the count row. Count of orders. Count of orders. Count of orders. Count of orders. Then count of orders. Then here I can put in the amount of orders. So I can put in the column I want to use and what I want to use, the function I want to use after my equals to count of orders, which is the name. After that, then equals to after the equals to, then you have the function you want to use. So the function I want to use is count row. Count row. So count row. After that, enter. Then I'm going to ask me for the table, which is my Apocalypse Sales table. Then enter and close my brackets. And first enter again. So I have that there. So I'm going to just bring in, select this. Bring this and bring it back to this place. So I can see total orders for each customer. Total orders for each customer. Please, do you understand now? Is it very clear now? Okay. So it's not that it's just basically setting out. Yeah. Okay. Ms. Baby Sola, do you understand? That's question. Okay. Probably not. I'll just go for you. Please submit the thing, Sola.
Well done, sir. Thank you for
Yeah.
the good work. Don't forget it. So I think this count rows is similar to that total unit sold, Abby.
It's similar, but what we are doing now is we are just counting the row. See the differences. See, okay, let me show you the difference. Look at this, what we have here now. You see that we have 32. In this one now, what we are doing is, you see this 32 here, plus 64. So what we are doing in this one is sum, we are summing up. So for this 32 now, plus 64, plus 69, plus 40. That's what we are doing. In this one, I'm using form. Where we are using the sum. So, but when we are counting, we are just counting. So for this, we have 32 units. So this one. The next one is 2.
Okay.
The next one is 3.
Okay.
The next one is 4. The next one is 5. So that's basically what it does to the count row.
Okay.
Yeah, it counts the amount of rows we have there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because before I thought, okay.
You
I
get
thought I
that?
said new measure is only to sum up. You know, you said new measure to sum up.
No, I said
And
measure. Measure.
Okay, measure.
It aggregates. It gives you one answer.
Okay.
I don't say it gives you. It's only for summing up. It gives you one answer. So if I'm doing anything, if I'm doing count row, it gives me one answer.
Okay.
Even if I'm adding, let's say I say sum of total units sold and okay, let's say units sold plus okay, let's say units sold plus times price. The price might be the price for the each and every one of the units. Times price minus production cost. That's I'm trying to get the revenue. With that now,
Yes.
if I'm using measure, it will give me one answer. But you know, for all these things, we have the for each and every one of the column. We are trying getting it, but in measure, it gives us one answer. It will not give us the answer for. So that's for in column. If you're using column, for example, now it will give you answer for this one. When it comes, it gives you answer for this. Then it gives you answer for this one. It gives you that. So I guess, but measure this gives you one answer.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so you can unmute Mr. Luashi.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the wonderful work. I want to is where you solve that can't rules. Yes, I want to. Can you just please skip to the first place? Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not to repeat it. You know,
Okay,
after when you do it, you know, when you do it now, it's only that 74 that first display.
Sure,
How do you display? How do you display the number of rows as for the shops, for the store? How do you even bring that?
That's very nice. So this is basically that's what I'm trying to say. So if you're using a table vision, what it does is it shows. Okay, let's say for example, if I do not sum this up now, I'll just use that example. Let's say I do not sum it up. Let me put another vision. And I put my customer here, and I put total unit sold. I'm not putting total. I'm just putting unit sold for now. Okay, let's say other item.
Where are you picking?
I'm picking it from this. Are you seeing my mouse? Can you see my mouse?
Okay. I can see it now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you see what it does? Okay, even this one is still giving me total. Still giving me total of this here for this table.
Okay.
So what it does is it does not actually give you, the other is, for example, now in this place, the other is showing 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. You have different one others. So what it does is it sums up that order.
Yes.
That's the sum of all those orders. Like okay, let's say the total of the amount of order we got is 74. That's 74. That's what it brings us 74. So now when you bring in the customer information, you know that customer information will be like we have different customers, we have different stores there. So what is it's going to do now? Instead of showing 74 for each and every one of them, because it's meant to show us a data, like if you're using a table now, it's meant to show something here, like this. It's going to show a particular number here because you're using this thing together. We're trying to analyze this data now. So what it's going to do is, it's just going to automatically show us the number of the order from that particular store. Instead of showing us 74, 74 is our total order.
Yes.
So instead of showing us that total order for each and every one of those customers, it's not just going to show us the amount of order that those customers, that the amount of order from those customers or from those stores. Then under it will give you your total, which is 74. So if the customer is not there, I'll just get the total order. which is 74. But when I add them,
Okay,
it means
yeah.
I want to see the total order for each and every one of those. So that's why I'm adding the customer there.
Okay.
To add them, because I want to get the total amount for each and every one of those customers. The amount they order.
Yeah.
Do you understand it now, sir?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Mr. Ali, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hello, thank you. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
The formula count row is like seems confusing because what we did in what is it called the unit sold, we summed up everything.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing we did in a count row.
Okay. It's the same thing we did, but now
It's
you
still
know
the same
that
thing.
the same
But
thing we
it's
did, but
just
now it's
okay.
the same thing we did, but now it's different function. And they have different
Different
commands
function.
to them. You get so sum is meant to sum up. That's why it's called sum. You know, you sum in exam, you sum everything up. So it gives you one particular sum. So for a number, if you come here, you get a number in this unit. So for each and it goes through each and every one of those rows like this. For this first one, 32. That's 32 alone. The next one, 68. 32 plus 68.
Okay.
Then comes down to the next one.
Okay.
I'm going to sum it. So 32 plus 68, then next one is 69. So 69, okay, total of these two now, which is what's it called? 100. Which is 100. This is 100. This two is 100 plus 69. So that's 169.
Yeah.
So that's how the sum does. But count row, it does not do the same. Count row is another function on its own. Sum just adds all those numbers. Sum is just like you adding this plus this plus this plus this, but you're not doing it just like adding them one by one. You are doing it in one go. So count row is count. It counts. It does not add. It counts. So you come for this one, it counts 1. It comes with this one, it counts it 1. It comes with this one, it counts it 2. It does not count. It does not add it up. It counts it. That's what the function. That's what that.
But it's counting. Is it counting row or we are going down the what is it called?
Yeah, it's row now. If you
down
go
the table, is that?
Yeah, it's for each and every.
Is it row or column?
Okay. You can say it's column. It's one column like this, but it's going down to them. Yeah. So that's it. So
that's fine.
So what you just need to understand is that measure gives you one answer. So the difference between the measure and this is that measure adds up the distance, but control count row counts. Like getting it. But if you are using measure, they give you one answer. So that's okay.
All right.
So let me So let me go to please, Mr. Ola.
Okay, going forward, just a simple question. So what's the difference between count row and count?
Count row and count. Counts. Count if for each and every one of those rows, the ones that contain number. So if you have any row there that does not contain number, it will not count it.
Okay.
So count will count every row you have, but counts only the ones that contain number.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Favor, please go ahead and since you came later, I've not seen this.
Yes, it's not really. I actually entered late, but I've been trying to enter severally, and the network has been throwing me out. But I think I finally joined, and sorry,
your network is actually breaking. Can you just shift it? I think your network is breaking. Mr. Favor, you can hear me. I can't hear what you're saying.
Why are you crying? How are you crying?
Please,
how are you crying?
Your network is your network is Can you shift a bit more? Like,
Hello, are you hearing me?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Yes.
It's okay, I can no longer hear you. That's what so please, anybody ask question, just this our that class is going to be 2 classes because you cannot finish that in 1 class. So I'm going to even the if you cannot even cover it in 2 classes. So the one I'm going to talk about is not going to be finished in this class. So if you have any question, please just raise your hand. If there's any way you don't understand, I will repeat. Okay, so let's move on. So that's that. I just counted. Let me go back to my measure. I just counted my orders and I have 74 orders. And if I bring in my customer column here, which contains my customer names, I will see the customers and the total order that we got from them. So total order we got from them and our total order. So we have that table. So that's that for that. So that now let's say we want to get our total profit. First of all, to get our total profit, we need a revenue. So first of all, to get our total profit, we need a revenue. So, and to be able to get our revenue, we're going to be using. I'm going to be coming to our Apocalypse store here. We're going to be saying our units sold times price. So units sold times price is going to give us a particular total revenue. For example, now if I come to my data, okay, it's bad. The network is really bad. Please go ahead.
Yes. I actually noticed that. But can you hear me now, please?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, I was saying that I followed you up to a point that we do count rows, but after the count rows, the next thing that you mentioned, I think that's when the network threw me out. So
No,
I didn't get after count.
I've not gone beyond count rows. I'm still in count. I just finished count rows. I've not gone beyond count rows. I just finished count rows. I'm going to the next one. Can you hear me, Mr. Toby?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Please continue.
So that, yeah. Okay, so the same. So so what I want to use is for this one to get my revenue. I want to get the revenue first. My revenue should be total. That's what total. Units sold times price minus production cost. That's my revenue. That will give me my revenue. So what that means that I need to bring in this my price and my production cost to this my Apocalypse sales. So I need to bring in price and production cost to Apocalypse sales table. So there's a function I can use to do that. I can use select column to do that. Can you select column to do that? So very simple. From here. So 2 ways. You can use select column and you can go to Power Query and use your merge query to bring it in. So that you can do that. Okay, sorry. Price. Who is the person I want to bring in? Price. That's the person I want to bring in. Then select columns. Then the table I want to select the column from is Apocalypse store. Comma. The name The name, the table I want to get from this name is price. This option. I need to put it in there. Name. So, confirm it. First, Alexis. Name. Should be option. I'm scared. Please, just 1 minute. I think I'm missing up the function. But this should be option. Just 1 minute. Let me just check that function again. So I was mixing it up with another function. This is actually not the function I'm going to use. Sorry. I'm supposed to use related table, not this one is to put it into another table actually. To create it to another table, you are getting that this, but you're putting it to another table. So what I actually need to do is use my related variable. So I'm going to say price, I'm going to bring in price. Plus 2. The function I want to use is related. So they're going to ask me the column name. Price. We're going to bring in that price column from here. So the one I was saying, select column. So select column brings in the column, this thing, but it takes it to another new table. So if you are bringing in the data, you're going to be creating a new table automatically, not like bringing it into this column. So I'm going to redo that. So as I was saying, the select column function that I wanted to use is for table, not for column. So it's used for, like, let's say I want to bring in another function, but I want to use it to create another table on its own. That's what I'm going to explain that one later. But the one I want to use to bring in these columns is related. It's called related function. So to do that, I'm going to be using my column. So I'm going to click on, because I want to bring in a new column, which is the price column, into my Apocalypse sales. So select the Apocalypse sales table and come to new, not measure, sorry, click on measure. Should be new column. Yeah, I was missing that. So it's not meant to be new column, not measure. So I'm going to close that. So click on new column. So it's coming up. New column. Because I want to bring in a new column from another distance. So new column, that means I want to create a new column. And the name of the column is price. So I'm going to bring the price column from this my Apocalypse store to this my Apocalypse sales. So what I'm going to do is I put in my related function, this is the function I'm using, related function. Then they're going to ask us the value we want to bring in from this, from which table. Okay, no, see now it's not showing us the Apocalypse sales store because we are trying to bring in a function, a column from another table. So now I can select the column I want to bring in, which is my Apocalypse store, click on it and close my bracket and enter. Click on that, close my bracket and enter, and I can bring that in here and add it. So what it actually does is the related value works with your relationship. So it basically goes to the tables you have relationship and bring in a column, a particular column that is specifying from that table. So without the relationship now, we cannot actually do something like this thing I just did now. Bring it in, because there's no way for you to be able to match that data when it's bringing it in. So without a relationship now, I will not be able to do this. So because there's nothing connecting those two data together. So I have to have a connectivity between those two, like a connection between those two data, which is my relationship, so that I can bring in those data. The same way with merge. So in merge, you have to merge and make sure that the column matches each other. That means you have to have a common ground between these two columns. between the two tables, sorry. Common ground between the two tables. That means a column that you have in Apocalypse Sales that is also in Apocalypse Store to be able to do that. So basically for using our function now, we have to make sure we have a relationship between the table that we want to bring in the data from and the table between the Apocalypse Sales, we want to bring the data from column, we want to bring in the column price, the price column from Apocalypse Store, we want to bring it into Apocalypse Sales. So because it's not in Apocalypse, we want to bring it in. But because we have a relationship between Apocalypse and Apocalypse Store, we can actually do something like that. But without a relationship, we cannot do that. So I'm going to repeat that one more time. So I feel like I don't understand it. So I'm going to delete this and click on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. I can right click and say on the column I want to add the new column to. So right click and say new column. So new column, and on that new column now, I'll put in my price. I'll put in the column name, which is going to be price. But I'm bringing in a new column and I have to give it a name. Price. And after that now, one by one from my equals to now, I will use my related function. Related. That's mean related function. So click on related when it comes up, and then select the table and the column we want to bring in from that table. So the table we are trying to select is Apocalypse Store. Then the column we want to bring in is price column. So price, and then close brackets and enter. No, I use shift enter. It's not just enter. Not shift enter, please. Enter. I press shift enter. That's why I got something like this. So press my enter now. I get my price here. Yeah, I did not put relationship. You know, I told you probably I can create relationship automatically. And when I come to that, when you bring in your so you create this automatically. I don't need to go there and start creating again. So probably I have created automatically. Relationship automatically. That's what I'm doing. And Ms. Bisola, do you understand now? Is she still here with us? Ms. Bisola? Or do everybody understand? Please, if you don't understand, raise your hand if you want to ask a question.
Yes, sir. Well done, sir. Not to be truthful, I didn't really get this related one.
Okay.
So
I feel like the reason why
is it like that relationship that we made last week?
Yes, now that's what we're talking about now. You need
That
a relationship.
yeah,
that's it now. That's what we're talking about. The relationship.
Said that on Saturday that you said the table.
Is it the relationship between two tables? Yes, that's it.
Okay, so now, but here to create it, we now type related.
No. Don't understand. So the related is what related will not work without having a relationship.
Okay.
You get
okay.
Because we have a relationship now, we can go through to the other column and bring in anything you want to bring it because there's a relationship between the two columns.
Okay.
We're not using related to what I'm using related to do is to bring in that column I want to bring in. That's the function of the related function. That's what it's actually doing. But relationship has already been created already. It's Power BI creates relationship automatically for you.
Okay. So sorry, sir. So typing in the related is to show you the ones that are related.
Typing in the related is to bring in a particular column from the other from another
okay,
table.
from another table.
Yes.
Oh, from another table to another
table. Yeah. That's what it does.
Okay.
So what you just need to do, as far as there's a relationship between those two tables, you just type your related, then select the table you want to get the column from, then select the column you want to get and press your button.
Okay. Thank you, sir. But you can just do it one more time. Oh, sorry.
No problem. No problem. No. Okay. Please unmute Mr. Sunday.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Well done, sir. You are doing a good job. God bless you. I think this thing is actually why it's giving people issue is because of the related that the formula carries. But I remember when I watched the video on Seller. So when I come across this, what I did was I just went to Power Query and used the merge function. Okay. So using the merge function, I was able to bring in the price
But
so that I can do the revenue. Okay. So what I want to say is that if you put it so that people will get it straight away, that okay, that to bring the price column is either use the merge. Now every one of us understood the merge perfectly by now. Okay, so if you can use the merge to bring in your price, or you can use this particular stuff. So then that will give the people understanding of what you are trying to say. So like Mrs. Bemi now, who is having this, she's actually my boss, so but I understand. So she's confusing, and many are confusing the related what's it called, formula.
As creating relationship. I get. Because of the name.
So I think you can do that.
Yeah, so I actually said that. I said that you can just use the function I just want to call out, or you can go and do merge. You can go to Power Query and merge. Merge is to bring in column. It's the same thing as related. You want to bring in a column. Very simple. But the reason I'm telling you about the relationship is that if you don't have any relationship now, you might see that the related is not working. So the reason why it will not be working is because there's no relationship between those two columns you want to bring in those stuff from. So it's the same thing. Okay, for example, if in merge, if you don't have a column that is matching each other in that merge, that's what you use to create a relationship if you have a relationship. If you don't have a column that is matching each other in that, when you're trying to do merge, your merge will not work because there's no column, there's no common ground between those two things. That's the same thing as relationship. If there's no relationship between these two tables, your related will not work. The related is just to bring in a particular column from another table into the table that you're in right now. Okay, so Mr. Freeman, please go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, this automatic relationship you're talking about. Last time or last week, or last meeting, when the thing is connected using some arrow and some flow charts, then you are deleting them. I don't know why deleting the flow chart.
So yeah, the reason why I deleted the reason why I deleted the relationship that is because I want to show you how to create the relationship yourself. That day, that's why I deleted it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I deleted it. That's what the reason why, because Power BI will automatically create a relationship for me. I just wanted to show you how to actually create it yourself. Because if you just know that Power BI can do it, what if you want to change something there?
We could.
I'm hearing you. Yes. What if you
show us? Or I couldn't see that. Either I couldn't show us or I didn't pay attention. I couldn't see you showing us how to do that particular flow, the flow line you're deleting.
In the last class? I did not do it in this class. I did it in the last class. So. Wow.
Yes, it's the last class question I was asking.
The video is also in the seller. You have the seller asset. Goes to relationship. You see the video there. It's very detailed. You can go ahead and watch the video. Video on relationship is in that seller. Just go ahead and watch. You understand it.
Okay.
Yeah. So please, you can. Okay. Because of the noise, go ahead and mute. Okay, so I help every other person understand the related now. It's just to bring in a particular column into your Power BI. You're bringing a particular column into another table. So it's coming from, let's say, for example, I want to bring a column from Apocalypse store, which is my price, to my Apocalypse sales table. So I can go ahead to Power Query and use my merge to do that. Use your merge to do your merge and bring in the column to bring it. Or you can use your related function to also do that. So two ways you can do that. You can also do that with that. So let's move on. So I want to also bring in my production cost column from Apocalypse store to this my Apocalypse sales column. So I'm going to use the same thing again. Come back here. I select new column. New column. Then type the name of the column, which is going to be production cost or product cost. There's the production cost. Production cost again. The production cost, I would say, production cost. So what I want to do is I want to get this production cost column from Apocalypse test. So I would say related with my related function. Select the after using related function, I'll select the table. I want to get the function, the column from which is my Apocalypse dot, click that, then the column I want to bring in, which is production cost. Click close bracket and enter. Close bracket and enter. We get our production cost there. So you can see price and production. So now we can create our revenue. So our revenue is going to be units sold times price divide minus production cost. So I'm going to do that. So very simple, and I'm going to be placing a new column to do that. So because I want to get the units sold for each and every one of these places. So for the first thing of Jonas bought, which is 32, I want to put the revenue for that. I'm going to be using a column to get that. So right click and say new column. New column. So remember what I want to do? I want to say I want to get my revenue. My revenue, which is my unit sold times price. So unit sold, I'll say unit sold. So this, you can see unit sold there. Unit sold, not total unit sold, unit sold, enter, times. So I can use my, I recently pressed enter. So I think we just enter, I'll get unit sold back here. What about, what I want to do is unit sold, then put in my asterisk as my times price times price Apocalypse sales price minus production cost of Apocalypse sales production cost. So units sold times Apocalypse sales price minus production cost. That's production cost. So with that, I can get my revenue. So it's loading. So it's loading. So I get my revenue. So for you can see for this part, for this 32 units sold to this part, I get my revenue, which is 833. So I am going to unmute you, Mr. Ernst. Please go ahead and answer the question.
Okay, I think oh, sorry to butt in just anyhow. I think it should be the profits, not the revenue. Revenue should be the selling price multiplied by just the units sold. And profit should be whatever it is minus production cost.
Okay. That's true actually. Revenue is what will bring it. Sorry. Revenue is what will bring it. So I'm going to just remove this.
Okay.
Thank you very much, man. So revenue is what will bring in actually. So we'll get total business we get. So just remove the production minus production cost to get your revenue. So get our revenue now. You can see our revenue here. So Apocalypse sales units sold times multiplied by the price. We get our revenue. So then, so if we want to get our total units sold now, here, total units sold now, if you are using column, you're just getting total units sold for this one. For this particular, this one, we have here now. So, but what if I want to get the total units sold, just like one particular number, total units sold for everything I sold? Okay, let's say I want to, okay, for example, first one, I want to get total revenue. So total revenue, I can use my sum to do that. Revenue is equals to price times units sold. Yeah. Thank you. That's what I was saying. So let's say I want to get my total revenue now. Total revenue is very simple. Right click, we are using measure to do that. Click, new measure, just sum your all the revenue you have. As you get your total revenue, that's your total income. Coming. Total revenue. Total revenue. Total revenue. So it's going to be sum, which sum then current sales revenue and close brackets enter. So I'll get my total revenue, so I can use my visuals like card visual. Bring in my card visual, right? I use it to visualize that so I can see my total revenue. My total revenue is 800K.
You will have to really.
Huh? Hello, ma.
Oh, sorry. It's just the 88K that is so strange.
It's the total revenue that we got. Total revenue that we're summing up.
But why is he putting a CSK? It should be full now.
You can change the format.
Okay.
The reason why I showing it like this is because I'm using a card visual. Let me use another visual. It's the visual that I'm using. So if I use my table visual now, you'll see that it will show it full.
All right, thank you.
So you can see it now. Let me zoom in. See that I show it this fully. But this one is sums it or like aggregates it. Like decimal places just going to get it here. This is our total revenue here. And see it here. So we can actually edit it like you don't want this decimal places. What you can do is click on that, go to let me zoom out. So let's say we want yes, okay. So let's say I want to you see I have decimal places there. I want to remove those decimal places. What I can do is click on the measure. Click on the measure, have the measure selected again. I will get my measure tools. When I measure tools, I can format it. I can remove the decimal places. Change the number of decimal places shown. So I can use this. This is auto. I can put this one to 0. So put it to 0, and I have this. So I have 808. Okay, it's 7,945. So I can also add comma. Let me zoom in so I can see that it does not have comma. So this is the number that I'm actually formatting here. So I can add comma from here to it. So it's loading. Still loading. You know why my this is slow. Everything is just slow. Please let me. I'm trying to. The system is hanging. Trying to zoom out. is individual dependent on our if I can use any visual for any data I have. So if I have total unit, I can use my card visual, table, metrics, I can use any visual, but it's just going to show you in different ways. That's just different. To show you different ways. So you should just know the one that is perfect for you that you want to actually visualize in particular data. So when we get to dashboard, we get to understand that better. Okay, so now as it has added comma, so we can see that comma has been added there. Now comma is separated by over itself. So I can format that there. I can change in decimal places to format to general currency if I want. Yeah. So I have but I add the currency and I can put this number, percentage, so I can change the format from there. So the good thing about this is if you bring in different measures, that format, so if you bring in different what do you call it? You get another measure, that format will also be there, and if you bring in different visualization, that format will also still be there. That your editing, I just did how you format it, like remove these map places and all that will show you. So so that's that. So I can do now. What I can do is also, let's say I want to get my total profit now. I want to get my profits, and now remember I said that measure gives you one particular answer. So to be able to use measure now, or if you want to get a total profit, which is total profit of everything, all the revenue, because you want to know our total profit there. And when we use our measure, what we can do is we're going to use my measure to get my total profit. Click on new measure. So my new measure now, I can type in the total total profit. Now, when total profit now what I do is what I'm meant to do to get my total profit is revenue minus production cost. So revenue minus production cost. But because I'm using measure, if I try to do revenue minus production cost, now see what it's going to do. Revenue. You see, I'm not going to be seeing that. So now what I'm going to be seeing is total revenue, which is measure, which is also a measure. But I'm telling you that if you want to do anything with measure, you have to be it gives you one answer. So you have to give it one particular listen to work with. So for example, now we're trying to do revenue minus production cost. So what we're going to do now for this measure is we are meant to sum up the revenue first. So because for measure, if you're trying to do something like you need to put in the sign like my minus or my division or my plus, I have to make sure that I sum up what I want to add first. Make sure there is one answer and this. So what I would do is, let's say that means I have one particular number, not like 31, this, 81. So I have to make sure I have one number. So I'll say sum. So sum of my revenue, close bracket, the sum of revenue, close bracket, minus the sum of production cost. So sum of revenue minus sum of production cost now will give me my total revenue. Because now remember that measure gives you one answer. So for measure to give me one answer on this particular list I'm trying to do, I have to sum up those all my revenues that I have there. I have for each and every one of the units I sold to all those people. I have the total, like for where we have it here. Let me go back to this my table here. You see, for the first row, we have the total revenue for that first row. Second row, we have total revenue for this. So what I need to sum up, if I want to get the total revenue with my measure, I need to sum up this whole this thing I have here in this under this revenue here. Sum up this one. So I'll say sum of this whole this thing minus the sum of this. That's how I can use it in my measure. So sum of this minus the sum of this to get my total revenue. So I'm going to total profit. Sorry, I said total revenue. So total profit. I'm going to click on this, my card, and I'm going to use my card to bring this in. I'm going to remove. Okay, so it's already removed. So this is my total profit here. So I can also use my table to do that. I'm going to remove total revenue and use my total profit. So total profit is 86,822. And $1 or naira. So that's how I get the sum of my total profit. So I can also do the total profit here. I'll get total profit for each and every one of those rows. So use your new column like this. New column. So new column, I'll say profits. This is not total profit, this is profits. So here, I'll say revenue column minus production cost column. Production cost column. Enter. So now with that, I'll get my profit for each and every one of those rows. For this, on my first one, Uncle Jonas Prep shop, he ordered 32 units for the first order he ordered. And for that 32 units, our profit there is $834. So I can edit this, put it in currency to be dollars or so I get it. So I can do that. So this is my total, this is my profit here. But to get my total profit, I use my measure to do that, which is the one I have here. So which is the sum of revenue minus the sum of production cost. Please, do we understand? We are reducing it. Please, do we understand? If you don't understand, raise your hand. Please. Please, do you understand, Mr. Maxwell? Yes, okay. Yes, okay. Yes. Ms. Bimisola, please go ahead and unmute. Please, if you have other questions, go ahead and ask. Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so first of all, so measure we use it to aggregate, but when we want to do individual calculation, we use new column.
New column, yes. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
New column. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So any other person, is there any other question? Is there any other question?
So when do we now use the
the table, right? Your network is very bad though. Can you just shift a bit? Your network is really, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. It's going to Sola. I think she's gone. Okay. Please go ahead, unmute.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, it's better now. I can hear you.
Okay, so I said measure is used to aggregate. But for individual calculation, we use new column.
New column, yes.
So at what point do we now use that related? Okay, just to import one to the other.
Use it in columns. If you want to use it, use new column to bring, because I try to bring a new column, and a new column has to be one full column to a particular table. Do you understand?
No, I'm saying that related.
Related function now. Related function, right? Yeah, use it in new column. That's because you are trying to import another column from a particular table for another table. Let's say from we want to import Apocalypse Store. In Apocalypse Store, we want to bring in the price column into the Apocalypse sales table. That's why we use be reloaded. Because I'm bringing a new column to another table.
Okay.
Yeah. You're welcome. Is there another person with any other question? Any other question? We're going to stop here today. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about how to use new tables. Any other question? I have other function we're going to talk about tomorrow. We have calculate. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. And go, the video is in Seller. Just go through it, calculate. I can hear you, Mr. Favor. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much for what you have been doing. I just wanted to ask that all what we have been doing here on measure, bringing new table, are they all sum up to call that function?
Yeah, that functions. Yeah.
Okay. So what we've been doing so far today is under that function.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So, any other question? Any other question? Miss Bemisola. Okay. Go ahead.
So, dark function. Please help us spell the dark, I beg.
It's not dark. DAX. DAX.
Okay.
The full meaning is data analysis expression.
Okay.
That's the full meaning. Data analysis expression.
All right.
Okay.
You said we have class tomorrow. Is it not Saturday?
No, it's Saturday. Don't mind if I say tomorrow. Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question? Any other question? So any other question? Please, you go ahead. You are already on mute. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. I just wanted to say that the last assignment, I've not completed it. If I can still send it to you.
Yes, go ahead. But don't send it to the form again. Just send it to me directly. My WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Send it to me.
Okay.
You can go through it. Thank you, please. Okay, I will drop the recording. Surely I'll drop the recording. I'll drop it very early tomorrow. So I can go through it. Okay, Miss Bemisola, please go ahead.
Sorry that I'm disturbing you. I'm sorry.
No.
So in I don't really know, for data analysis, I don't know the job, but my question is, so in what job function will we need this measure? And I know that, okay, for new column, we want to calculate revenue and all that. So, but for that new measure, so what would the job be that they would request for you to now do the measure?
So as an analyst, what you do is you analyze data. So they might give you a company might give you data for you to analyze, like telling you that they want to know total profit they got from a particular customer. They want to know their main customer, the customer that gives them most profit. So you can use your measure to analyze to get your total profit, then bring in the customers, and you see the total profit from each and every one of those customers. So with that now, you can easily determine the customer that you guys got the most profit from.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other question? Any other question? In the absence of any other question, I'm going to cut the class today. So please watch calculated video. Is in the calculate function video. Is in the Seller. Please go through it for the next class. Go through the dates, the date, time, and day functions. Is it there? Go through that. So go to the related values. I said related values. Lookup values. Go to the lookup values there too. So you got to just go through those. That's what I want to be talking about. But we have other ones for that. They're not recorded there. So we'll go through those ones we have there for the next class. So I'm going to drop the assignments while dropping the recording tomorrow. I'm going to type that I'm going to drop it out. Please go to the people that is still not clear enough for them. You can go to the recording and if you have any question, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp and I'll answer your question. Okay, so good night, everyone. See you guys on Saturday. Good night. Good night. Yeah,